first method that I will talk about is persona. A persona represents a group of people that are using your software in a similar way. So that means they have similar needs, similar concerns and problems. A persona is not based on data, but on insights. And let me explain this with an example. So if you want to design a product and you get a data set, for example, it's really difficult to read from it how people would behave or what their needs are. And if you have a look at the two persons that fit to this criteria, it's actually Ozzy Osbourne and Prince Charles. So it makes totally sense to do interviews and to get to know the people who you are designing for, because data doesn't say so much about the character or how people behave or what they wish for. So you will probably start with one persona, and the more interviews you do and the more information you get, you can always create new personas or add some insights to your existing one. So let's talk about how to interview people and how to get to your persona. In my experience, most of the time, people don't know what they want. It depends on their mood, maybe the time of the day, and they often change their opinions. There's one famous quote from Henry Ford, and he said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Well, and as you all know, he didn't make faster horses, but he designed a car. So actually, how do you come from what people say to your design? It's by asking why. The more often we ask why in the interviews, the closer we get to the real motives, emotions, and values. And sometimes it feels really stupid in an interview to ask 3 times why, but actually that's how you get to the goals and values and motives. So maybe your solution or your design is different to the wish that the user had, but still it's based on the need of the user. Human-centered design is about making assumptions, what you think your user needs, and then testing this. This is also another way to get to know your user, because if you're showing him or her prototypes of your solution, you engage him or her in a conversation about your topic. And I would really like to encourage you to draw wireframes or a short storyboard of your solution before you start coding. Because I mean, it's really difficult to get feedback on this, but it's so much easier to get feedback on this. Before you invest your time in writing the code and then noticing that maybe the overall user flow doesn't make sense, get a paper and a pen and map out your idea. Very important. If you test your prototype, don't explain your idea. Just give the paper to your user. Don't explain what you think the user should do with it. Just have a look, how does the user use it? It's always good to just be silent and just observe how your user uses your product. So for the next method and to show you the templates that you can use, I would like to switch to Miro. As you can see, the tool Miro is very easy. You can just use sticky notes and type whatever you want. So if you remember the human-centered design process, the first phase was explore. And that's where we are right now. You begin with interviewing your user. So first, it's always useful to just write down all the assumptions or hypotheses you have, and then later to ask them your user. One example of a question that you could ask your user would be, when was the last time you have worked with data similar to LDN? It's always very important to ask your user what they have experienced in the past and not to ask them what they wish for or what they think they will do in the future, because actually no one knows how they will behave in the future. Also, it's nice to get to know your user and to ask some general stuff like, what do you do in your free time? What's your job like in general? How does a day in your life look like? So after you thought about questions here, you can interview your user and then take notes, of course. And reading through your interview notes, you can write down insights. So imagine you had 2 interviews with 2 different planners, Susan and Pablo. And Susan said, for example, Susan said that she would wish for someone who could confirm her ideas for land planning. This is an insight that you can write down. As a planner, Susan feels alone in her job. It's an assumption that you have, and maybe you can test this later on. Also, to give you an idea what insights are, I wrote down some examples. For example, Pablo is scared about the future, or Pablo needs to communicate with a lot of different policymakers in his job and always needs to something visual to show. So these are insights that you could have gained during an interview. And the next step would be that you create a persona. Be really graphic about your persona and really visual, actually, because it helps you to identify with your persona. In this case, we had 2 interviews with 2 planners, Susan and Pablo. And we found out that they have the same interests and goals, they have the same problems, so we can make one persona out of it. So we took what we learned from the interviews and created a persona out of it. So then we come to the next phase, which is the ideation phase, if you remember the human-centered design process. Here it's always nice to start with a question, because questions trigger ideas in our head. You can have a look at the insights and also at the persona you created and write questions that begin with how might we? How might we support Alex in his decisions so he doesn't feel alone in his job? Or how might we help Alex to address conflicting planning priorities? This space is for your ideas, and we have also some examples. So for the how might we question, how might we support Alex in his decisions so he doesn't feel alone in his job? 2 possible ideas could be, in our solution, there's a possibility to connect to other planners, or in our solution, there are statistics which show how other people have decided. So this place is totally up to you how you will use it and go crazy in your ideas. So the last template and the last tool I would like to introduce to you is the customer journey. So before you start coding, before you start doing wireframes, how the visuals look like, just be specific really about the story that your user goes through. So in this example, we have, of course, the beginning of the story. So the user is asked to make sure that the land use plan draws down carbon, addresses climate change and biodiversity. And then the end of the story would be the user, which in our case is a planner, user forwards recommendations. So if you're clear about these steps and if you're clear about the situation the user is in, you can create a story around it. So what are the different steps the user has to do? So the customer journey is actually kind of a storyboard, but also has different aspects to it. As you can see here, there's one row where you can see the personal thoughts of your user. And then there's one row where you can see a wireframe of your solution. In this case, we already have the storyboard, then we have the different wireframes, and we also tested it actually with our users. So we could also fill in the rows below, which is what happens front end, what happens back end, and then from the user test, which emotions did the user show using our prototype, and which thoughts did they have while using it. In this example, we made kind of a bad job because the user is not satisfied, as you can see in this emoji. When we tested this wireframe, the user actually was really annoyed because he had to register, and the user hates to register. So the good thing, if you have mapped out all the different steps of your solution, is that you can then check how the users react to it and then maybe go again to the ideation phase. And then think about, in our example, how can you make registering more easy? So for me, this tool is really helpful because it maps out the whole solution that you have in mind. It maps out the customer needs, what happens back end and front end, and also when you test it, the results from your user tests. Of course, you don't need to use the Miro board on online tool. You can also just grab your pen and paper and stick the customer journey, for example, to the wall. So this is a whole process you can go through, and I hope you had now a little glimpse of what it's like to design with the user. And if you have any questions, you can contact me and ask me. See you soon.